Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Empire, where we dominate the crypto market. I'll be your host for today's live stream, and my name's Connor. Hope everyone's doing great. Smash up the like button and let's get right into this stream. Shout out to everyone here in the live audience. We got Ringo37, we got Incognito111, and Cryptomaniac925. What's going on, lads? Good to see you all here. Despite this very boring market we are currently enduring. Let's go take a look at Bitcoin to start this one off. And currently, we have been dead sideways for the past 6 days. If we go to the daily time frame, we just basically printed, or we're the seventh daily candle just formed here, right here in this range, right? Because we just had the daily open 51 minutes ago. But we are in a very tight consolidation, with the high up here 86,444 and the low down here at 82,750. It's tight. It's a tight range. And this range is within a larger range, with the highs up here at 88,800, I'll call them, up here. That's our range high, as well as the previous swing high, which is going to be a really important level to reclaim if we're going to flip bullish, right? That's like the first step to confirming that we're actually going to go up, is the reclaim of this previous swing high, 88.7K. And the lows, the range lows are down here at 74. So we got a range here and we got a larger range here. We are range bound. We are dead range bound, flat in the middle. And it's really, really slow at the current moment in time. It's also a big weekend, being that tomorrow is Good Friday. And the U.S. stock market's going to be closed. And then on Sunday, it's Easter Sunday. And it's also the day, the date is going to be 4/20. So it's going to be a holiday weekend with the market closed on tomorrow, on Friday. So with that, we could just keep on going sideways here with the closed market. Or are we going to see this range resolve and then the larger range get resolved, either with a breakout to the upside or a break to the downside with a move into our key level? From there, we will go up. What's it going to be? I don't know. Anybody claiming they know, they don't know. Nobody knows. But all we can do is prepare for that outcome. And that's the focus of today's stream, to prepare for the inevitable outcome of this range breakout or breakdown. Whichever direction it resolves in, we want to be ready and we want to have plans in place so that we can profit from the outcome regardless. All right, so we'll talk a lot about that with Bitcoin as well as altcoins. There's some really interesting setups on altcoins at the current moment in time that I'll show you if we do pull back from here. But regardless, what's going to happen, who knows, and we'll talk about it further in this stream. For now, because we started looking at Bitcoin, let's go over the overall market and altcoins. Looking at things, everything is flat. Ethereum is trading at 1580, XRP just above $2, and we have Solana at 134. Looking at the crypto bubbles top 100. A lot of bounces today after moves down earlier in the week. We had a lot of altcoins going ahead and completing their Monday low deviation range trades, where they were trading underneath their Monday lows and made a move back inside of the range. I'll show you an example. One of them was Tau, for example. If we drop the time frame to the 4-hour, what happened on Tau was it broke the Monday low, it tagged the monthly open, and then it had a 10% move to the Monday high. A lot of altcoins did the same move. HBAR, same thing. That setup I was talking about the other day. HBAR didn't actually complete the move to the high. It is getting rejected currently from the Monday low and the monthly open and the weekly open. But this setup played out a lot on many different altcoins. The Monday low deviation range trade, right? That's something we talk about a lot here on the channel. But regardless, like, it's a scalper's market. There's no true volatility. We are experiencing non-directional volatility, where we're seeing spikes in both directions, but really no movement and no actual trend is in place currently. So very interesting time to say the least. let's get into this chat and then go over prepping for the big range resolution, whether to the upside or to the downside. So we got live and local. What's going on live and local? Saying he's in the bits. Hit some likes. Yes, sir. Hit the like button. We have DD. What is going on, DD? And we also have Matt1. What's going on, Matt1? Also, Rinum19. All day Dre as well. Good to see you, Rinum. And Dre, always a pleasure to have you in the stream, my man. And we also got Crypto Mike as well as Juan. What's going on? And let's see. Juan says it's a very slow week indeed. Great to be here, Connor. Would you mind taking a look at Edge? Interesting. I'll look at Edge because it's the first question we've had today. And I've also never heard of it. Edge Definitive. Looks like it's a base project. So we will head on over to Deck Screener and see what's going on with this 15-day-old coin. Definitive Fi. On-chain trade execution. What is it, like a bot? All right, so yeah, it's a trading terminal for on-chain coins. Interesting proposition. Now, if we do get bullish risk on market conditions, it could do super well. Although the market cap's 58 mil, it launched at a valuation of 143 million and immediately sold off on the daily time frame, right? So this thing's 15 days old, and you're in this range essentially. So tough to really say with such a new coin, but like I always say with these ranges and new coins, look to buy a discount. So I would look to buy something towards the latter end of the range down here, closer to like 20 million. But yes, brand new coin paired with Bitcoin. Yeah, so it's paired with Coinbase Bitcoin and wrapped ETH. It's not even paired with USDC. So I've never seen this before. And still, I would just look to buy the discount if I did want to buy this coin, which I really have no interest in. But for you, Juan, I hope that helps. And was listed immediately on Coinbase, so there was some shenanigans going on there. So recently, talking about Coinbase and Base, getting over to our daily news. Yesterday, Base put out a tweet saying that Base is for everyone. And the coin at first, we can just go look at it. The coin at first looked like a straight up rug pull. I believe this is it. Maybe not. So many tokens and so many ripoffs nowadays, you don't even know which one is the real one. But anyways, it looked like a rug pull and then it came back up. So, this is just the state of the market. This is just the state of the market currently, where Base and Jesse Pollock are now... He went on a Bankless podcast today. If you don't know what Bankless is, they are like a big media firm. Total like plant, like funded by the big players in the industry to talk about the narrative that they want passed. Total like normie media, Bankless. A bunch of bullshit, basically. That's all you have to know about Bankless. But yeah, you got Jesse Pollock saying they want to tokenize everything. They launched a rug, but then it turned out to not be a rug. And that's the current state of the market. So you're not really missing too much on-chain currently. Looking at all the on-chain coins, right, none of them are really showing any activity at all on Base, whether that's Ski, Degen, not showing much activity. It's in the bottom demand zone, which is interesting. You got KeyCat at 25 mil. You got Miggles at 25 mil. Not doing anything, retesting their bottoms from April 7th. So it's a very slow time on chain, and that directly reflects what's going on here with Bitcoin as well. So if you're not missing anything really trading memes on chain at the current moment in time, there's activity happening on abstract and things like that. But I mean, it's really just, it's the same old BS. When are we going to have another on-chain season? I'd say that happens when we do actually see USDT dominance break down. Okay, that's when everything pumps. That's easy mode when everything goes up and everyone's also a genius during these times. So if you want any meme coin you're holding to pump, or you want meme coins to get active again because you're a meme coin trader or a trencher, well, then you need to see USDT dominance roll over and come down for that to happen. The correct conditions must persist in order for altcoins to pump. And we still don't have those conditions just yet. And while we're looking at USDT dominance, let's go ahead and lower the time frame and break down this chart, because this is, again, the most important chart in crypto. And as you can see, similar to Bitcoin, we are just very choppy range bound. We're still holding the uptrend line, going back to these lows over here from the top of the market on January 20th. We are still holding the uptrend line. Now, as you can see, when we came into this demand zone earlier today at 5.46%, that did coincide with Bitcoin spiking up to 85,300. It's just such a slow ping pong choppy market. And what do we want to see here? Well, if we're going to crash, if we are going to crash, that means USDT dominance is going to spike up again. All right? Because again, there's an inverse correlation between this chart and all assets in the crypto market, Bitcoin and altcoins. When this goes up, they go down. So if we're going to crash, this is going to spike up again. Where I would be looking, if we're going to go to 72K on Bitcoin, or even possibly lower, that means we're going to come up here on USDT dominance. If we go to the daily time frame, we're going to come back into this level of supply all the way at around 6.4 to about 6.5%. Mark this on your chart, okay? Because this is, we'll put a little note tab here. This is essentially bottom, okay? This is bottom for BTC and alts. So let's write that in. All right, maybe it goes higher towards 6.7, but anywhere in this general area, if you see USDT dominance up here and everything crashing, this is like your signal or your added confluence to buy as much as you can, because that's very likely going to be the bottom of things, especially if it happens in a relative, like, quick, soon manner in the short to mid-term from today, April 17th. 9 p.m. on a Thursday right now. Smash the like button if you guys like the late night live streams on a Thursday. But if we're going to crash, we're going to spike up here on USDT dominance to around 6.4 to 6.5%. On the inverse, if we are going to pump, we're going to see Bitcoin break out higher, and we're going to see this roll over. All right, so we have some levels marked that already have been hit. Right, we have this level over here at 5.35% that's already been utilized. It's no longer fresh. It's basically an expired zone. So where we're looking next is we're looking down here at 5.51%. And this may coincide with Bitcoin at that previous swing high level at 88K. Just here. Right, that might coincide with this jump up. And back to USDT dominance, we also have the higher time frame swing low down here at 5%, and as well a zone to keep tabs on over here from around 4.85% up to 5.1%. So that's where we want to look and see if Bitcoin is at resistance. Where is USDT dominance at? Is it at support? Okay, then we might get a reversal. That would be time to look to take profit on your longs, take profit on spot bags, and potentially look for shorts if you see good setups on altcoins or on Bitcoin when USDT dominance does come down to this demand zone, if you will, at 5%, as well as the previous swing low on the higher time frames. Overall, though, we don't have any indication of how this is going to go just yet. My bias is still to the downside, but I am completely open at this moment in time to being wrong. Again, we've gone sideways for 6 days straight in this very tight range. So you can flip a coin essentially. And, that's how it's going to go. With that being said, we do have the trend as our friend currently. And the trend is your friend until the end, as they say, right? There's nothing in life like one good friend. And that's the trend as a trader or as an investor in any market, including crypto. The trend right now is down. Obviously, we're looking at USDT dominance currently, so this is an uptrend, but Bitcoin is still in a downtrend. So with that, we should still be favoring to the downside. I do still have a bias to the downside, but like I said, I'm open to it having go up instead. I'm open to this happening and the trend actually breaking and shifting from a bearish trend to a bullish trend. So, yeah, I mean, look, it's like staring at a wall right now. The price action is so slow and so boring, but we have our levels marked out. Now, if we are going to drop, what does that mean for alts? What does that mean for our altcoins? Tau showing some strength on the daily open right now. So we basically want to be looking out for, if we are going to pump, we want to be looking out for moves that will indicate a change of trend. So for something like Tau, we want to look for a close on the daily time frame above the previous swing high, which is at $280. Let's go put a line right there, and we can label it as the previous swing high too, as you can see. We'll call that the previous swing high. All right, so if we're actually going to have a breakout here, well, that means we can see Tau move up here to 280, and if it closes the daily time frame above that, we want to be looking for the pullback too long. All right, and a few altcoins actually closed above their previous swing highs, so some of them are valid right now to look for longs, and I'll show you a few of them in just a moment. But for now, let's finish looking at BitTensor. So on Tau, some interesting stuff. First things first, you guys should hopefully see why I isolated this candle from Saturday, April 5th. All right, what do we got? We got a fair value gap as well as a breaker block. So we're going to coin this when I hit an order block. If you don't see the FVG, I'll show you here. And you can see our zone is inside of that FVG. We already had it tested once, which was on Wednesday yesterday, but it did not come into our zone. And that's from 220 down to around 217. All right, so for Tau, we want to be looking in this area if given on a pullback, especially if it closes above the previous swing high level up here at 280. Obviously, that would be a bit of a deep pullback, but we have that level marked. And with that being said, we may form something new as price works its way up here. If it's going to come up here to 280, we might form something new to look for a pullback into. But regardless, right now we got an untested zone down here at $220, which is a zone to look for if things line up properly. We want to line that up with USDT dominance at resistance. We want to line that up with Bitcoin at support, right? We don't want to just take this setup blindly, but we know that's an area of interest to be looking out for a trade. Now, we also have just coins that, we always look at. I look at on a daily basis. We got stuff like Jasmy, which Jasmy, yeah, we were trading this past weekend. Up here, we shorted it up here at 1.7 cents, and as you can see, price did drop like over 20%. But now things got interesting. Why did things get interesting here? Why did things get interesting here, guys? Let me explain why things are interesting now. Well, what we had essentially, look, like up here is like, this is a swing high. We had this move down from there. We had a pivot. So technically speaking now, this candle here is a previous swing high, as you can see. And this 2-day candle from Friday, April 11th closed above that previous swing high level. What does that mean? It means that, we got ourselves a little change of character from bearish to bullish. That's something to pay attention to right there. All right, we want to be looking out for levels to take a long entry. All right, so we got one. We got one right here. As you can see, we got price drop, base dropping. Nice big move down. This is a supply zone. Price completely ignored it on the higher time frame on the way up, leaving behind both a fair value gap as well as this breaker block. All right, so as you can see, this is the level, and it's at 1.2 to 1.25 to 1.21. All right, so again, we want to look for confluence with Bitcoin, with USDT dominance, with the total 2, things like that, so that we don't just take a setup blindly when other things don't look good and we just get stopped out and instantly lose. We don't want that to happen. But yeah, this is coming really close now, at around 1.21 to 1.25 cents. So mark that one, and that could be a potential good setup if conditions do allow. Some other ones, same exact thing on something like CRV. It's the same exact situation where you had this previous swing high. So basically what I'm showing right now is altcoins look like they want to pump, which means that we could, altcoins, Ethereum looks like dog shit, but individual altcoins aren't looking bad. It's very wishy-washy with ETH, Bitcoin really not showing much indication of what they want to do. We haven't looked at ETH. I'll show you real quick though. It looks like shite. Here's Ethereum, right? Considerably weaker than Bitcoin, and it's still unable to claim Monday's low as well as the weekly open. So Ethereum's still, super weak, which isn't a great sign. But individual altcoins are showing their changes of structure, right? Their changes of character from bearish to bullish with these higher time frame closures above previous swing high levels. So back to CRV here in the 2-day. Yeah, look. Price big close above this 2-day high. We're chopping and slopping right now up here at 60 cents. Not much is happening, but we do have that higher time frame closure above this level at 60 cents. So yeah, we're valid to look for pullbacks. And as you can see here on curve, same exact situation as Jasmine, which we just showed. We got our drop-based drop supply zone isolated here in green because this changed from a supply zone to a breaker with price completely ignoring it on the way higher in a fair value gap, yada, yada, yada. And this is down here also conveniently located from, if you pull a fib to the swing high down to the swing low, your golden pocket fib, your 618 is directly inside of this level, which is some nice added confluence. Anyways, 49.8 cents market. That looks like a pretty good spot to look for a nice pullback into. And, if you want, you can look to short it down there. I'm not saying this is a good short entry at the current market price, but, this is a 15.8% move from the current market price to this level. So if you really want to see through the matrix and be like Neo, you can look to short it down and then long it up. But I'm not saying that this is a good short entry directly at the current market price, because you could see this come back up and chop around, sweep highs, take all the stops first before making its move down there. Okay, so you want to use the lower time frames and find a short if you want that for curve. If you didn't get an entry earlier, closer to like 63 to 65 cents up here at the top of the wicks. But yeah, we're looking for this to break down and then essentially pump because it has closed above the previous swing high on the higher time frame. Now we can go through many other examples of charts, right? Stuff like H bar, which we can see has not closed above its previous swing high. XRP, same thing, hasn't closed above previous swing high. So if you're going to look for longs on anything, you want to do it on the coins, right? XLM hasn't, Link hasn't, AVAX. No, the previous swing high is up here at 23.30. So look for coins if you want to long anything, long a pullback. You got to look for the ones that actually are displaying a reason to go long. If it's not displaying any reason to go long with Bitcoin, ETH looking like shite, it's probably not a good idea to long them. All right. But anyways, Most of these coins haven't reclaimed previous swing highs. Most of them still look quite weak, right? Aptos hasn't. Tau hasn't. There's only a few select examples of coins that actually have. Caspa hasn't as well. Not many alts closing above their previous swing high levels, but a few have. Big time pumping, but I mean, let's just it's this bearish stuff, right? Just swing failure patterns at the previous swing high. All right, price sweeping. It's a lot of mixed signals with just a very few amount of altcoins showing the strength that we look for to look for along. It's a weak market. I'm just running through these, and I mean, they all look like shite. Bear going back down to 350. There's really not much that I'm seeing that are showing reasons of why we want to get long. But besides the two that I showed you on Curve as well as Jasmine, now let's see. Farcoin's in this bull flag. Farcoin's in this bull flag is not breaking out yet. I am looking for shorts up here above $1, but you know that hasn't been triggered, and I don't have limit orders on because I don't want to be in a situation where it pumps and goes like this, and I immediately take a loss because I had a limit order to short over here. Okay, I'll wait for price to come in here, and I'll see how it does, and then I'll market order short it if it looks good. But you know, as of right now, this is just Farcoin is just in a bull flag with an untapped level just below at 75 cents. It's just such a slow market. Very, very, very boring currently. It looks like Bitcoin is pumping back up to 85 with USDT dominance dropping lower again. So we'll see what kind of reactions we get. But overall, I mean, look, it's Thursday night at 9:17 p.m. before a holiday weekend. Remember, U.S. markets are closed tomorrow. So I'm personally not really expecting too much right now, but hey, we'll see what gives. Anyways, let's hop on back to our live chat and see what's going on. Let's see, VW motherfucker. Are we still bullish on treble swap? Absolutely. I'm still bullish on treble swap. I mean, nothing's changed whatsoever. I do think it's a good price, and time will tell. Now, while we're looking at on-chain, let's talk about Atlantis on Monad as well. Again, this is on testnet. This is not a real chart in the sense where it's like real money. This is the testnet chart, but you can see this thing had a parabolic run, pulled back, and now it's pumping again. So the activity is pretty nuts. You can see like every minute there's multiple transactions going through on testnet. So why is activity so high right now for Atlantis on Monad? It's because they are doing an NFT mint on testnet. All right, this is testnet. Let's get that message clear for anyone that doesn't understand it. This isn't like real funds. But anyways, if you guys haven't been paying attention to Atlantis, let me break it down and what's happening right now. So currently 4,106 NFTs have been minted for a price of 0.1 Monad each. You do need to complete 20 swaps on the testnet to be able to mint an NFT. Now, I have minted one NFT on this wallet. There are 3 of them. Okay, there's the ultra rare, which is the one I got. It's the Gods of Atlantis. There's the super legendary rare Emerald Tablet, which has a 3% chance. The one I got has a 7% chance, this one. And then there's the normal one, which is a 90% chance. If you collect all 5 of these, you do get a boost when it comes to utilizing this application, providing liquidity, things like that. You will get a boost. But anyways, I want to show you a mint and how it looks like because I have completed 20 transactions. So let's do a live mint and see if we can get lucky here and get ourselves a little Emerald Tablet NFT. Here we go. Little live mint for the lads on stream. So we'll go ahead and confirm the transaction. Bro, come on. Come on now. That's a 3% chance. That's 1 out of 100. Come on now. I was blessed by the RNG gods. That's sick. That's awesome. So anyways, if you guys want your own rush of dopamine, right? So you don't have to live vicariously through me minting the 3% Emerald tablet, get your ass on over to Atlantis. Do 20 transactions and mint an NFT. Beast mode. That's super hype. I mean, that's a 3% chance. 3 out of 100. Man, that's pretty cool stuff right there. Too bad it's not real though, and it's only on testnet. But hey, you love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. That's fun. Anyways, let's get back to business. Go check out Atlantis on your own time, guys. But that was I mean, the luck here is insane. Absolutely insane luck. Let's get back to our live chat. We got Incognito saying lucky draw. Yes, sir. All right. Eric says thoughts on Pepe. Let's go break down Pepe for Eric. So let's start it off. So on the daily time frame, this is looking interesting. We have a higher time frame range. And we're just going to categorize this range in a simple manner. We're going to use this as our range low, and we'll use this as our range high. And we will throw on our range measurement 50%. And we'll put on our 0 and 1 as well, so we can see the range high and range low. All right, so. And we can get rid of this fib as well because it's been used. We don't need it anymore. So what do we have? We have a range here in the higher time frame. Range high, range low, equilibrium. Price is currently right at the equilibrium of the range. We're smack dab in the middle of it. Now, when it comes to alts, as you can see, I have a level here that Pepe hasn't hit, but it came marginally close to it. But when it comes to altcoins in general, right, going back to what happened last Tuesday on April 7th, every total chart, all the key liquidity charts, altcoins, the total hit the key level at 2.38. The total 2 hit the key level at 860. Total 3 came just shy of 645, but it did hit 659. And the others chart did hit a key level down here at 175 billion. So that's why altcoins have shown a lot of, say, strength recently, because these key liquidity charts, the total 2, total 3, others all did hit, their key levels. The only one that didn't was BTC. So with that being said, altcoins very well could be bottomed out here. Even if Bitcoin was to get smoked, maybe altcoins end up holding their lows, maybe not. But regardless, this is a textbook W. This is a very textbook W, and I can't ignore it. It can easily get invalidated if Bitcoin spoils the party. But yeah, you can't ignore the W on the higher time frame. There is a potential reversal ensue forming right now. The problem we're having is in this very tight range, we don't really have any other indication that we're going to break out other than this double bottom, clearly printing. And if I have to guess, it's an 88.6 test at the bottom. We'll verify that. It's an 88.6 test. Just here at the bottom. That happened on the 7th of April. So this is bread and butter textbook reversal pattern, all right? This is the W. This is the 88.6. This is a very textbook setup. To me, it is, at least, because like this is one of the first things that I learned about trading way back in the day in 2018. So yeah, that's the only indication we have right now of a breakout. We don't have anything else, such as price closing above higher time frame swing highs. So that's a bit tough currently, because we don't have that to go off of to look for longs. Being that we're at the equilibrium of the higher time frame range, it's never really a good idea to take any trades right at the equilibrium point, which we're at right now. It's never really a good idea to do anything from this point. So what I would be looking for on Pepe, one of two things has to give here, being that we're in the middle of the range. Like I say with ranges, we always want to either buy at the extreme discount of it, which would be a move back down to the lows, which we may not get because of this W that's forming. Although if Bitcoin does end up crashing, we'll get it more likely than not. Or we want to look for a close above the previous swing highs. And then from there, we can look for a pullback to get long. But that hasn't happened yet. So really, there isn't too much to do right now on Pepe, in my opinion. And with that, it's also looking quite weak in the sense where it can't even reclaim Monday's low price. I don't want to get too retail here with the patterns, but this is also a bear flag because we have this move down into this upward sloping consolidation in this ascending channel. And more likely than not, if this is a true bear flag, it is going to break down. All right, it is going to break down, and we can get super retail and grab the measured move like our boy Crypto. Not really our boy though. And we can say that the price is going to come down here right into this demand zone that formed, this rally-based rally. So look, this looks clean, and it would make sense given the current posture of Pepe. It can't reclaim the previous swing low. I'm not going to take this short, but observe and see what happens here at the equilibrium of our higher time frame range. Currently a no trade. I would either look to buy the extreme discount of the range or a move below the range, or wait for price to confirm it wants to go up with a close above a previous swing high and buy a pullback. If you want to get fancy, you can look to short this bear flag to this rally-based rally demand level, but it is not the cleanest setup, I would say. And I'm not sure about the probability, because it can definitely get quickly invalidated if Bitcoin wants to pump. Also, the fact we're in a holiday weekend now, and we just have very low volume and just liquidity in general in the market. But anyways, I hope that helps, Eric. And we also got a super chat from our guy Bojan M. What's going on, Bojan? And Bojan says, hey mate, what are your thoughts on Sonic, aka Phantom, for the near to the long term? Well, thank you for the super chat, Bojan. And shout out to Bob's My Uncle as well with the super chat. We'll get to that just after this one. Shout out to Silvadala as well, tuning into the stream. If you guys missed it, we did mint an NFT live on stream, and we actually pulled the Emerald Tablet, which is a 3% chance. Insanely lucky. But yeah, go check out Atlantis and mint your own and see if you get that lucky one and collect all 5 of them. So again, because Phantom rebranded to Sonic, we no longer have the chart we once did have. Which, you know, it is what it is, but it's not the best thing ever, being that we don't have all the previous levels. We actually still have previous levels on. Kraken is, well, we're going to have to use the Kraken chart because they are still trading under their ticker symbol Phantom. Going back, and we can get all this price action data. So Phantom is not a special altcoin in the sense where it's going to like completely disregard what the rest of the market is doing. It's still going to depend on the majors, which, as you can see right now, USDT dominance is moving lower, which is why we're seeing Bitcoin jump up to 85K, as well as some altcoins jumping up a bit too. But Phantom isn't special, and it's still subject to the tides of the majors. So it's still going to need USDT dominance to drop hard to pump. I will say this did close above, never mind, it did not close above the previous swing high. My eyes did deceive me. All right, you can see it came marginally close to doing that, but it didn't. Okay, so we don't have any higher time frame closure above swing high levels, which is tough, meaning that we got to be a little bit careful because it's not really giving us a true reason to look to long a pullback. With that being said, you want to look at this large inefficiency, which did create a fair value gap, and it left behind this. This is the setup we were looking at on like the other coins I was showing earlier. Right, most charts are going to have these, but again, you should probably look for the ones that have it, and they also clear their previous swing high. But yeah, you have this failed supply level getting disregarded, and also it's inside of a fair value gap. So that does look clean. We can look there for some potential longs, although again, we don't have that added confirmation of price closing above a previous swing high, and this is right at 42 cents. If we see Bitcoin crash to 72, a big if there, a big if. Please don't think I said if it's a guarantee to happen. It's definitely not a guarantee to happen. But if Bitcoin does end up going lower and crashes, well, we should be looking down here closer to the 30 cents demand level, which did get tested once back in February of 2025, which was only like 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago. This can definitely get revisited if we are to see a crash, and this will likely mark a significant bottom before a large markup. So this is your higher time frame buy level for FTM down here at 30 cents. Now to the flip side again, we want to look for signs of strength. We don't have those yet, right? We don't have those just yet, so I wouldn't be too eager, but yeah, you can try this level here, 42, 43, if you want. And this swing high is like Bitcoin at 88.8K. So you essentially want to be looking out for a large move. See if that leaves behind anything. Look to long that for the ride higher, or you just look for the dump into here. That's the plan, really. That's the plan, man. I would stick to the plan too. I'm sure you've noticed yourselves watching the stream, the 70 people, however many there are watching this right now, with the replay and everything, it'll be a lot more. But I'm sure you guys have noticed in your own life, when you stick to the plan, usually good things happen. Sometimes things can go bad, but you just stick to the plan and you get through it. When you deviate from the plan, that's when disaster strikes. So it's good to have a plan in life. Otherwise, you're just a piece of driftwood at sea, floating to where the current takes you. And you'll get thrashed around by the waves, and it won't be a good time at all. So have a plan. It's the main message right now. Anyways, sorry for leaving you hanging. Bob's my uncle. Let's see. He says, what do you think of my old faithful Barrio as well as OKEG? My man, Bob. So, Bob, I know you were super eager to see these break out. However, we don't have conditions just yet to permit these low cap coins to break out. But we can take a look at them and see what's going on. So OKEG Strong pump from the bottom at 1 million market cap. It's just been drifting now at a 1.8 million market cap, just drifting, right? I call this price action, just drifting along, right? Just fading away. And with that being said, look, it looks bottomed. It looks bottomed, however, there are still some levels lower to watch for if you want to buy at lower prices. And that would be in here at a 700K market cap to 600K, an untested level, if this doesn't hold as a bottom currently. But really strong impulse, pullback. It totally depends on this coin in and of itself. I don't know who's behind it. I don't know how they're marketing it. I don't know what the community is like. But I doubt they're going to have the power, the horsepower, to do a crazy breakout without this chart dropping off the cliff. Right? You need this chart to drop off a cliff for something like this to pump. So if you're super bullish on this, which I know you are, Bob, you got to stick with it. You got to look to lower the average if given, and you got to stick with the thesis for if and when this drops off a cliff, you know, that's when it's going to pump. But as of right now, it's at a 1.8 million market cap, just in consolidation after a nice impulse and pullback. So we're either going to see continuation with the higher low format of this, or we're going to see a drop down to 700K bottom and then go. But yeah, it depends on the majors. Market conditions need to align for that one to pump. And then Barrio, base Barrio is at an 850K market cap. And this one's much more quiet, where it didn't necessarily have a crazy big impulse off of the lows. Right, it did have somewhat of an impulse. It went 2x from 500K to 1 million, pulled back to 600K, pumped back up, another 100% move. Now you come back down another, like, what is that, like 40%. So 34% there. Same thing, conditions need to permit. Sure, if we changed around time frames and things like that, we can find something, but for general purpose sake, I'm going to trust my eyes, and I'm just going to isolate this candle, which has already been wicked into once. And it would be a 50% drop if price came back into this. It would be 40 to 50% essentially if price were to come back into this. Again, no closures. This is a 800K coin and I'm charting it. It's like kind of BS. But yeah, there's nothing here to show that it's ready to break out, given the sense that it hasn't closed above these levels. One big buy order can send this thing up 200% in a candle. So it's really hard to say. But, you know, as of right now, it looks dead in the water in consolidation. And you need market conditions to permit in order to see it pump, and you don't have that yet. That goes with any meme coin anybody is in watching this live stream. Unless there's a cabal behind it that's going to inorganically pump it so that they can rug, your meme coin isn't going to pump just yet. That's the breakdown, the truth. So I wouldn't be crossing your fingers and hoping right now. I would just be taking a look at the objective situation and understanding what's at play when it comes to every coin, meme coin, altcoin, AI coin, RWA coin, all the same. They are all subject to the overall direction of the majors in the market, which again is Bitcoin, USDT dominance. Bitcoin dominance is up at 64%, as you can see. And when it comes to this chart, we haven't gone over it today, Bitcoin dominance. I wouldn't want to get in the way of this thing. Like it looks like it wants to continue higher. All right. Again, this is a 3-year uptrend going to the bottom in 2022. And we still have this level, which would complete the 1, 2, 3 triple drive, untapped up here at 66%. It looks like it wants it, which doesn't really bode greatly for altcoins if we're going to see Bitcoin dominance up here at 66%. So many like mixed signals right now in these charts. And they don't look great is the thing, right? They don't really look amazing in the sense where I'm like, yeah, we're going to break out. And it doesn't look like that currently. It can change. Obviously, things will change. But as of right now, it's really not looking like that. So I appreciate the super chats, guys. Now back to our chat. Shout out to Be Cool. What's going on, Be Cool? As well as Guts Motors. And we got Eric Royston. What is going on, Eric? Richie's asking about Fartcoin, which we briefly took a look at earlier, but we can look at again. So while Bitcoin's going down, Bitcoin's going up, this thing is going down. It looks like it wants to grab our level here. It's coming into 75 cents. I mean, I'm not going to long it. Especially not when I'm doing a live. I can't think. Obviously, I'm live on YouTube with like 100 people watching me. So, in the sense of like executing my own trades right now, obviously it's like not optimal for me. So I'm not going to take this. But anyways, the question from Richie was, strong and ranging between 79 and 95 cents. Good entry now. So look, you could look to long this in the sense where it's deviating this bull flag and you want to see it break out and hit the target up here at 107. You could try that, but I'm not sure in terms of the probability of that working out well. So good entry now. It's not the worst. It's not the worst, right? You have a reason to be long, and it's not like some blind entry, right? You know you're on this channel support in this flag with a level of demand just below here. So it's definitely not the worst entry. But it does look like USDT dominance is going up right now, so that won't work out too well for a long. Maybe it's going down. It's wishy-washy. Again, I'm not really sure it's going to break. But anyways, Richie, if you want a long, look, I want to short it up here at 107. So if it's going to go to 107, it needs to bounce from somewhere. Is it going to be here at 75? It could very well be 75 cents where it wants to bounce from and go to 107. But it's definitely not like a crazy high probability long entry that, I'm salivating to enter. It's definitely not the case. And Justin Andrews, he says, thoughts on Ski Mask Dog, is it dead? I don't think it's dead. I think it's trading like every other coin on base, as well as every meme coin in general that some shadow cabal isn't artificially pumping. Right? Any meme coin you look at is going to look pretty similar. They probably all didn't slingshot up like Ski Mask Dog did, but they all look pretty similar over here. Now still, for Ski, I still have this level at 10 million market cap, as well as this one, which hasn't been tested, at 20 million market cap. The low is at 28 million. So is it dead? I'm not sure. I've said now that I prefer coins like Keyboard Cat over Ski because given this went 200x, largely because of Brian Jung and his promotion of it, which is fine. That's, he was pretty clear and open about it. He didn't try and hide anything or lie like some other large coins on Base, but that's a topic for another day. The largest meme coin on Base. If you guys can put 2 and 2 together, you know which one I'm talking about. But anyways, is it dead? I don't think so, but probably comes lower. And it might be a bit of a lackluster performance when the market flips bullish. I'm not sure it will be able to generate as much attention to go this high as it did in the past. The excitement already happened. It's just like Trump launching the Trump coin. Solana peaked when this coin launched on the 20th of January, or that it was actually the 19th of January. But Solana peaked then. By the way, there's a huge unlock. I believe it's worth $380 million of Trump tomorrow. But just like Solana peaking out at like 278, 295 up here, because Trump launched his meme coin on the chain, that was peak attention. Ski Mask Dog pumping up to 350 million. That was like peak attention. Can it do it again? I'm not so sure about that. In fact, I don't think it will do it again. So I would probably focus on other meme coins on Base if you want meme coin Base exposure. No hate on Ski. Shout out to the Ski Mask Dog community. But are they going to send it this high again? I highly doubt it. Just like I highly doubt something like Brett will go back to like you got clowns on Twitter saying it's going to 40 billion still, believing the Kool-Aid that Crash puts out, straight up drinking the Kool-Aid. No comment for these people. They're simply not going to make it, and they simply don't understand. Like most guys, they just don't understand. But yeah, I wouldn't be too eager to buy this over some other coins like, I don't know, KeyCat and Miggles. Just being real. Shout out to Fred James. What's up? And we got Eric Alexanderson. He says, good evening. Thanks for the stream. Can you give your thoughts on Aptos? So Aptos, another one where it has not closed above a previous swing high level. Another one showing some weakness. Now, the thing about Aptos is it did hit my key levels at 416, and it came just shy. It bottomed out at 389. I had a level over here, 385. But it did hit the first one on the April 7th crash. Now the question is, can you give your thoughts? So my thoughts on Aptos. It's not a coin where I would be looking for longs. Again, because it has not given us a reason. It hasn't shown a change of character from bearish to bullish. This downtrend is still very well intact. Now, it does have my favorite bottoming pattern in formation currently, although it's not extremely clean. Maybe if we change the time frame, it would be better. Yeah, it's an equal bottom on the RSI, but price action, the price did make a lower high, like so. So with that being said, it's really tough to call if this is the bottom. I mean, looking back, like when the market does eventually pump and break out higher, you're going to look back at 460 and probably be like, damn, if I just bought there, I could have done super well. Right? If it ends up trading back above, say, $10, anything around these prices would be great. But maybe it wants to complete a triple drive. The bear market low for this thing was at $3. So here's my thoughts on Aptos to conclude everything. My thoughts in conclusion are, if it crashes, you want to look to buy it anywhere beneath $4. but your levels would be 385 as well as 390 down to 340 is your higher time frame buy zone if we see another crash. And like every other coin we've looked at today, if we do end up pumping and closing above a previous swing high, which in this case, I'm going to grab this one at 6. I'm going to disregard this one at 550 because it's not really a significant pivot. This is a pivot. This is just a continuation of that trend down. So we're going to classify this up here at 610 as our previous swing high. So if we close above that, then okay, yeah, we look for longs and we can ride the trend. But right now it's very wishy-washy and not giving much indication on which direction it does want to go. So it's a no trade for me. And like all the other coins we've looked at, you know, it did leave behind these, which is at 440 to 436. So watch that area and watch the majors there. Right, it's the same thing we were talking about on Pepe, right? Same thing at this level. Watch these, but it hasn't closed above the previous swing high to give you a reason to get long. And let's see, our boy Crypto LTP5 in the building with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. And let's see, his question is, just got here. Can you please give your quick takes again on macro Bitcoin, ETH, total 2 and 3? Do you still expect Bitcoin to hit the higher time frame key level? All right, we can do a little rundown for everyone else with you, everyone else who was late. Let's see. Do I still expect Bitcoin to hit that key level at 72K? So I was saying earlier, LTP, before you got here, my bias is still to the downside. However, at this point in time, I do understand we're at a very pivotal point on the chart where we can easily push above and make a move to the previous swing high up here, 88.8K. And, you know, from there, if we close above it on the higher time frame, then this is out of the play. For now at least. But my bias is still lower, yes. Reason being, the trend is our friend until the very end. We do still have our downtrend. And with that, we haven't closed above a previous swing high. So there's no confirmation that we have broken this downtrend. We'll probably have some people saying, oh, look at the daily candle from today. You know, look how it closed above the trend line. We're going to pump. You know, I'm not so sure about that just yet, especially with the way these wicks all look into the start of this red zone, this proximal line at 86.50. So the latter part of that question, yes, I expect it to hit at 72. But, you know, at this point in time, it's like flipping a coin, really. It's a coin flip. Now, let's see. So for Bitcoin, again, I mean, I kind of just went over things, right? We either close above this previous swing high at 88,800, then we're in a new uptrend. Amazing, right? We can look to trade a move up to 95K from there, that other key swing high. Or if we're going to lose this trend line again and get rejected from it and see a downtrend continuation, we do expect this to hit at 72. Ethereum, still expecting ETH to come home. Again, home is down here from 13 to 1200. If we were to pull a 50% measurement, well, our 50% would be smack dab in the middle at 1250. Math. It's amazing how it works, right? Yeah, 1249, 1250. That's still the level I'd like to see ETH hit. That would be an optimal buy zone for everything. And man, this chart is so weak compared to BTC. So anyway, swing high up here at 2069. You could classify this as a swing high in 1957, but again, it's not really convincing given that this is a pivot. This is just a downtrend continuation. So the real juice is up here at 2K. And this is equivalent to Bitcoin, I would say, at 88,800. Okay, Bitcoin at 95K would be ETH back up here to 2,500, which is $1,000 higher than the current market price, essentially. So there's really no reason to be super bullish on ETH right now because, one, it hasn't taken the key level, and two, it hasn't closed above a previous swing high. So our bias is still technically lower. Yes, it's still technically lower. Anyways, so total, again, all these hit. Total hit over here at 2.38 on April 7th. Took out the key level. However, we do still have one over here at 2.25 trillion. So if we are going to go lower on Bitcoin, this is where we should be looking on the total 2.25. Total 2 hit 860 bill. All right. So that's why altcoins have seen such great pumps from their bottoms. You know, a lot of 30, 40, 50% pumps from April 7th. However, if we were to go lower, we have this over here at 725, 730. And we have these lows over here, which on the huge fib from the high to the low is the 78.6. And that's at 700 billion. So if we're going to go lower, this is our buy zone for alts. Line this up for Confluence. But it has hit this level over here, 860, which was a very important key level. We just need Bitcoin to cooperate and also take out that key level, or close above a previous swing high. Total 3 came just shy of 645, but others hit over here at 175 bill. So it's a very mixed bag in terms of your total liquidity charts. And at that, Bitcoin dominance still needs to hit 66%, and it looks like it will. It definitely looks like it will. And USDT dominance, you can see we labeled this earlier in the stream. Bottom for Bitcoin and alts, likely up here around 6.5%. So that's how we're looking at the totals. That's how we're looking at Bitcoin and ETH. We don't have any crazy reason right now to get long and strong. We're still biased to the downside, and we are still looking for Bitcoin to potentially roll over from this trend line. The full week right now in this tight range, what's it going to be? I really don't know. It's like flipping a coin. But anyways, I do appreciate the super chat. Crypto LTP5. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Tyler Shee with another super chat. The super chats are rolling in today. No problem, Crypto LTP5. But Tyler Shee says, insiders leave since Sol and ETH are not scalable. So not a question, more of a statement. He says, insiders leave since Solana and Ethereum are not scalable. I'm not exactly sure what you're saying there, Tyler. But I do appreciate that $10 super chat in the Hong Kong dollar, my man. Thank you. I appreciate that. But if you have a question, let me know. Let's see. The Sarah 90, Connor, how do you like your proteins? Well, I like my steak medium. If it's like a really nice cut, like a porterhouse, I'll get it medium rare. A lot of questions. Let's see. Shout out to Bitcoin Halving, my man. What's on your mind, Bitcoin Halving? I know you always got some insightful things to share. He says, what's poppin'? Long time no chat. Indeed, sir. Let me know what you're seeing over here at Bitcoin Halving, because I know you were a prominent bear back in February, or January, whenever that was. You were popping in the streams. But I'm curious to hear what you're thinking. Shout out to Akil Lutz. He says, yo, Empire, just stopping by saying, hey, real quick, doing good work out here. My man, Akil Lutz. I appreciate that. Shout out to Apex. Appreciate that. Shout out to Dre for telling everyone to smash the like button. Thank you, sir. Kelefin says, do you think Binance will vote to delist Jasmy? There was one vote yes, and I guess there has to be a second. I'm not really sure. what Binance is going to do in terms of delisting Jasmy. Not really too sure what they'll do. I can't use Binance. Back in 2021, I could use it. But then they decided to geo-block half of the world, and the first country they geo-blocked was the United States. So I'm no longer a Binance user. And of course, they threw CZ in jail and implanted their own CEO. So things have changed over at Binance big time. I don't know if they're going to delist Jasmy. We did go over Jasmy earlier with a plan. Bit of a plan going forward here. We got an interesting level to look for at 1.24 cents. But other than that, will Binance delist it? I don't really know. But Jasmy, like, it's just a pump and dump token. So I wouldn't be too surprised. Anyways, Ahmed G911, he says, what's your opinion on AIXBT? Will it return to the all-time high after all the Twitter hype in the last cycle? Thanks. One word, no. I don't think it will ever return to the all-time high. Highly, highly doubt it. It experienced a bubble, and the bubble popped. I just don't see significant demand like it had to see it go back up to the all-time high. The market was in a crazed greed frenzy. Complete crazed greed frenzy. And this thing pumped from, 30 million market cap to 800 million. Being some like C-tier Twitter bot that constantly contradicted itself and just it was yapping garbage a lot. I sincerely doubt it will ever reach this all-time high. Let's see. Fred says the market will remain weak until a catalyst appears. In my opinion, it's going to come from Trump setting tariffs under a Fed pivot. Until then, no pump funding coming into the market. I mean, I can't say I disagree with that. In regards to our latest tariff news, let's check out what's happening on the Watcher Guru Twitter account. So let's see. Trump says 9 hours ago he's confident about a new trade deal with the European Union. Google operates an illegal ad monopoly. Trump met with the Prime Minister of Italy to discuss a new trade deal. CEO of NVIDIA says that he wants the U.S. to cooperate with China. Going to make a deal with Italy. And let's see. Trump says the U.S. will make a deal with China. Trump wants to fire Jerome Powell. So, yeah, we don't have anything to show that the trade war is over, which means no significant catalyst, much to like what you were saying, Fred. Like, we need a significant catalyst. We don't have that. To me, I look at the charts first and the news second. And to me, a significant catalyst would be price either hitting 72 or closing above the previous swing high, 88,700. We don't have either of those. So, yeah, that's why our bias is still to the downside. Winston Allen, 200K by end of spring. What are you smoking to say that? Shout out to Rosie saying, Connor, thanks for the good work. No worries, Rosie. I appreciate your support. We got a super chat from Recon Runner. Recon Runner, hi Connor. What Tau subnets are you most bullish? Thoughts on Sturdy? So Shoots 64. It's still the main consensus pick among the Tau community, is like the best subnet with the most, say, use cases, future proofing. That's subnet 64 Shoots. Still the main one. And you can see now all the trolls in my comment section. when I first put out the video on the Tau subnets. Well, it looks like the price has managed to climb back up to the highs essentially. Not the wick highs over here on launch day, but still. Anyways, Shoot's still the most bullish subnet. Thoughts on Sturdy? Let's take a look at the chart. Sturdy ain't doing so hot. Okay, clearly there is not the same demand that Shoots has. With that being said, though, it's a whale game. And if whales decide to buy this supply, it's going to send, but that's a lot of risk involved. I'm not sure I want to be in that trade with that level of risk. So Sturdy right now, definitely not a top pick. Or it's not like a top 3 pick. It's up there. I've looked into it. It's up there, but it's not a top pick by any means. But yeah, Shoots 19. And how are our Masa subnets doing? There we go. Real-time data by Masa. Looks to be in the lower time frames a bit of a rebound. Higher time frame looks pretty dismal, but this is one that I bought on day one. I still do think it has potential, but anyways, top 2 are going to be Shoots and 19. Recon Runner, I appreciate that super chat, my man. Let's see, Crypto LTP5 with some nice comments. I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words, man. But yeah, I mean, look, in the past, I've been blinded by bullishness, blinded by, wanting to see the market continuing to go up. But yeah, I mean, look, you learn as you go along. So I appreciate you seeing that, man. That's cool. Thanks for saying that. But with that being said, guys, shout out to Declan Wyatt as well as King Louie, some regular names we always have here in the live chat. But we've been going strong for an hour and 17 minutes, and we've covered all the essential information, and we got no new questions rolling in. So, with that being said, it's time to wrap this bad boy up. Smash up that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to your crypto empire. And I'll see you all very soon. If you guys enjoyed the live stream, share it with a friend. Say, hey, check out this stream. This guy's awesome. He pulled the Emerald Tablet NFT on a stream. 3% chance. Crazy lucky. Smash the like button and share it with a friend. See you all later. Connor from Crypto Empire signing out. Have a good one.